So are we wrong about Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder? Now here's a question. How does Deontay Wilder beat Chisora? And here is a scenario. Now you can either block punches, move your head, or move your feet. And when it comes to Chisora, he has a defensive preference of getting low and blocking punches. Now, if Deontay Wilder aims at the forehead, similar to how Lennox Lewis aimed at the forehead against Evander Holyfield, could the power of Deontay Wilder cause significant damage, even if the punches are being blocked? So think of this. Deontay Wilder is a power puncher, a knockout artist, and will be extremely dangerous if he lets his hands go. So here is the second issue. Derek Chisora generally doesn't move side to side. He walks forward. He comes forward. So in theory, if Deontay counters, he walks Derek Chisora onto the power. Now, Deontay Wilder's knockout punch, it's the 1-2 with the half step. If Derek's reflexes are off, that 1-2 is fast enough. It will end the fight if it lands. And the reference for that is the Brazil fight. Derek has to nullify the 1-2. Preferably, you want to negate it with the half step. So when Derek steps into range, he cannot get hit with counters. He can't walk into the punches. He needs to close that range very, very quickly. In contrast, Deontay Wilder needs to walk him onto the power, which would end the night. Think of the Helenius fight. Think of this. Derek Chisora is a warrior. He will step into the power. The question is whether he negates that power for the whole 12 rounds, assuming it goes that far. But let's not also forget that Derek Chisora can also win this fight in devastating fashion. He really can. For example, he could break Deontay Wilder down. Derek has a very good right-hand counter. Look at the Joe Joyce fight for reference. If Deontay Wilder decides to punch through the target, he will be susceptible to the right-hand counter. So if Derek attacks the body, if it's effective, Deontay's power will likely slow down as the fight starts to progress. Here's a question. How does Deontay Wilder deal with the body attack? Also, the best punch to hit Derek Chisora with is a left hook, and the reference for that is the Dillian White fight. Now, because Derek puts his weight on the back foot, that's why the left hook is so effective. But if you look at it, predominantly, Deontay Wilder, he knocks people out. There's no doubt about that. But he predominantly knocks people out with the right hand. So if you can take away the right hand, you have a great chance of survival or a great chance of nullifying Deontay Wilder's attack. Think of this. If Derek Chisora nullifies the power, lands the body shots, and gets that counter right opportunity, then how does he lose? And here's an interesting question. Should Deontay Wilder punch at the target or through the target? Should Deontay Wilder punch at the target or through the target? Now, if he punches through the target, he increases the chance of getting a knockout. There's no doubt about that. But he also risks getting knocked out, because if you punch through the target, then you will be susceptible. You will be susceptible to the right-hand counter. So if Deontay Wilder punches at the target, he is safer defensively, but then he's less dangerous offensively. So he's safer defensively, but he's less dangerous offensively. I hope that makes sense. So the answer is probably he needs to do a combination of both, but he needs to do it at the right time. And his feet need to be properly balanced when he's doing this. I also think the jab and the feint is the key to landing the backhand effectively. Think of this. In boxing, every move has a counter move. Therefore, the right move is dependent on the context. Deontay Wilder needs to understand that context and move accordingly. So the build-up to this fight, the build-up has been so friendly. They've been so friendly towards each other. Clearly, I think that illustrates that these warriors respect each other, and it's a different dynamic, a very different dynamic. Here's a question. Is this weird dynamic going to affect the marketability of the fight? Think of this. Both are great at controversy in the past. Derek Chisora used to do crazy antics like throw chairs and start altercations, but now he's in a different place. He seems almost stoic in his approach. It sounds like he realizes the end may be near. When I say the end, I'm talking about his boxing career, and therefore he's looking for closure, and hopefully he'll get great closure. This still is a money fight. It's a cultural fight, and it's intriguing. It's a money fight and a cultural fight. And it's interesting because clearly, when we look at the history of boxing, controversy sells fights. But there is no controversy here, but there is a lot of intrigue, a lot of curiosity. Think of this. When two fighters have reputations, perhaps they don't need to sell the fight because the fight sells itself. And that is a beautiful thing. So the biggest marketing of this fight, the biggest marketing of this fight was actually a verbal altercation. It was a verbal altercation between Deontay Wilder and Simon Jordan. And that incident, that verbal altercation, that's what I would describe it as, it had an element of virality. For example, it went viral. And Simon Jordan, who is Simon Jordan? I would say he's great at marketing, clearly an intelligent person, and he's great at being categorized as the villain. And in a sense, we hate the villain, but we love the villain. They drive the narrative. But the hostility that Deontay Wilder clearly had was against Simon Jordan, not Derek Chisora. However, it will no doubt promote the fight. Like all of us, Deontay Wilder has struggles that he is dealing with. And here's a question. We all have different individual struggles that we are dealing with, but perhaps they're of a different sliding scale. But Deontay Wilder's initial boxing story is beautiful. Let me explain. He boxed to financially support his daughter, who has a medical condition. As he put it, and I'm paraphrasing, he risked his life to save a life. He risked his life to save a life. And that is truly a beautiful statement. And that is truly a beautiful path. That's passion. That's purpose. That means something. That's spiritual. And when we do things to uplift others, when we do things to uplift others, that says something about who we are. Hopefully, Deontay Wilder will be remembered for that narrative. Think of this. A lot of people judged the viral moment, but did not know the true story of Deontay Wilder. Now, in this fight, there are so many questions, and lots of fights bring so many questions. For example, will Deontay Wilder's new coach bring a different style? And has Deontay Wilder, has he lost his confidence? And more importantly, will that affect his power and his implementation? Or will Deontay Wilder show us something different? For example, will we see the left hook? Will we see multiple feints? Will we see punching to the body, etc.? Will Derek Chisora be able to absorb the power, even if he blocks it? If Derek Chisora goes to the ropes, which he often does in his fights, will he be punished? Can Derek Chisora implement an effective body attack, or will this leave him open to counterpunches? Will Derek Chisora's looping right hand make a difference? It was so effective against Joe Joyce. Or will Deontay Wilder's 1-2 with the half step end the night? What will the trainers bring out of these fighters? And from maybe a psychological perspective, who wants it more? Will there be a strategic nuance that makes all the difference to the outcome? What is the psychology of these fighters? What is the psychology, the mindset of these warriors? Do they both still have the passion? Do they both still have the desire? Do they both still have the motivation to really go through this? Think of this. Boxing is a serious commitment. And if you're not committed, you are very likely to lose. So before we go into the next part, I just want to say the following. A question. What Deontay Wilder potentially beats Derek Chisora? So the Deontay Wilder that fought Stavern was powerful, was fast, and had a menacing confidence. In that fight, he had the accuracy, the power, and the psychology of an undefeated fighter. Also, the version of Deontay Wilder that fought Helenius would present difficulty, because in that fight he showed confidence and good counterpunching ability. Even the version against Tyson Fury in the third fight showed intelligent traps, punch resistance, and punching power. Yes, he lost convincingly in the end, but there was strength. Think of this. There are versions of Deontay Wilder that could create a devastating performance. Now, when we talk about the best Derek Chisora, there are different versions. The version that fought Vitaly Klitschko, maybe that was the best, but the version that fought Usyk, that was the smartest. And in the rematch against Dillian Whyte, he was great for 10 rounds before he walked onto that left hook. And with Derek Chisora, it's not just about the conditioning in this fight, it will also be about the strategy. Because if he stays on the ropes and Deontay Wilder punches through the target, this could be over. But the version that fought Usyk showed conditioning, strategy, and intelligent pressure. That version of Chisora can get the job done in an impressive manner. And the trainers and the camp will be essential. For example, can Deontay's team bring an optimal Deontay Wilder? Have they got the right sparring, strategy, and environment for Deontay Wilder to excel for Chisora? Because finding the right sparring will be difficult. The premise here is simple. It will be virtually impossible to find someone that can replicate the power of Deontay. Think of this. If Derek Chisora is optimal, we may see something very special that will cultivate the heart and cultivate the mind. So this should be a great fight, or should I say it could be a great fight. And if this is the final chapter, for Derek Chisora, I hope it is a great, great finale. Many boxers end their careers in a negative way. And what does it mean? What does it mean to end your career in a negative way? Well, some fight or many fight because they have to, not because they want to. Derek Chisora has the opportunity to end his career in glory, assuming that he ends his career with this fight. And if it is a great fight, if it is a great contest, then everybody wins. The boxers, the boxing fans, the media circles, etc. Everybody wins. Think of this. Boxers, they lay it on the line. It's what Teddy Atlas calls the chamber of truth. They put their bodies and hearts to the test. Now, all men are mortal, but not all men are boxers. All men are mortal, but not all men are boxers. And boxers are warriors. So with that being said, let's show our respect, and hopefully this will be a great fight that will live in the memory of boxing fans. So that's the end of the video. Now I'm trying to build a digital boxing community. That means I'm interested in your comments, I'm interested in your questions, and I'm interested in your observations. If you want to support the channel, all you have to do is simply like and subscribe. And if you want to watch more content, then simply click here or click here. As always, thanks for your time. It is much appreciated. Peace.